I'm in live. Let's hear the nice little Morse code. All right, let's see if this is working. I'm going to pop myself on over. I think if this works. There we go. Hopefully this is going to work. So if anybody is watching, and hopefully just let me know if I don't sound like a chipmunk. Oh, shoot. I think I'm supposed to go in. I think, yeah, I'm live. I just got to make sure that later on my broadcast is going to be... Here, hold on. I've got to make sure that's public. Hi, Charles. Can you hear me, I hope? If you can, that would be great. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch screens, and I'm going to go to the Wikipedia entry for January 1914. We'll take a quick look and see what was going on the year previous to January 1915 between the 22nd and the 28th. And I was going to do keep doing the like 1916, 17, and 18. But the problem is thanks, Charles. How are you doing today? And please let me know later on. Like, I'm not saying you have to do it right now, but let me know how your ex is doing and so on and so forth. It'd be nice to hear. What else? Let's get me back onto this thing. So anyways, I was finding that trying to assemble each year for each week kind of thing was just a little too much, and it was starting a bit too jumpy. Oh, hi, Meandering Mike. And so I thought what would be best and also help me put things into context, because I need to learn so much about the war. And I thought, well, why not just follow along with what the Great War channel is doing? So I'm just going to focus on 1 week at a time per year. So this stream, like I said, I'll do the Wikipedia January 1914. We'll take a look, and then I'll just do January 22nd to the 28th, 1915, and the next week will be the next week. And I'll continue trying to use the Der Weltkrieg map. I also found some beautiful things, which you'll see later on. I found some wonderful little laser cut wood pieces. They're like little explosions, and I'm going to use them for like where the battle sites are and so on and so forth. I think also by doing that, it should help. Like I said, also, I'm going to learn how the war progressed in all the fronts and all the theaters, which would be fantastic. And I'm not going to be jumping around so much going, whoa, what's going on now? Which will help, obviously, with the grand campaign. And yet again, I just need to learn so much more about the war. And it'll be neat to start popping in, like, as I can, as I start evolving with learning how to get better at these live streams, I can, keep some of the fronts. We can start seeing how these start, they start moving on the 75% scale map and so on and so forth. So it'll be kind of neat, I think, to watch from week to week, where some of the a lot of the action was going on and some wasn't, and so on and so forth. So anyways, okay, I'm going to zip over to the Wikipedia thing. I did also reattach the webcam to the helmet. I don't think I'm going to use it because, yet again, it's going to be difficult to, although having you guys around is great. I think it would be better if somebody, was sharing the StreamYard hosting, due to the fact that they could, use audio and say yes, no, because that's the problem. Every time I go to look towards the screen, well, I've just eliminated the whole point of trying to figure out where I was actually staring at on the map. But so I've left it on. I reattached it. It's on the helmet right now, and I maybe when I go to the 75% scale map and try to show the spots of where things were going on for January 22nd to the 28th, 1915. I'll just hold it in my hand and we'll go from there, kind of thing. But I wanted to have it around. Anyways, I'm going to go and share the screen and we'll see how this works. And then Maybe then we'll jump to the Calandale thing. And oh, I also noticed I'm really happy. I think this is fortuitous that it worked out this way, that I decided, you know what, I should not be so lazy and use other people's material or whatever. You got to start working, do some work here for these live streams, Chris. And so I was like, you know, when I said, okay, I'm going to follow along with the tutorials that Dave Schroeder had, and the one up would be the map overview. And when I was watching, I've watched it, I think 3 times the past day, just because I was like, you know, you better snap into it. And I realized there's lots. I mean, he was obviously focused on the introductory module for Tannenberg. So there's tons of terrain that is missed in that tutorial video. There's no mention of the Alpine. Anyways, there's all kinds of terrain not mentioned, and some of it I've never seen before, which is part of the Ottoman front there. I can't. I'll have to go and like I need to see it in front of my face to pronounce it properly. But coincidentally, I think I was mentioning last week with the live stream, if you wanted to use Der Weltkrieg and play a scenario that specifically mentions these dates, January of any of the years, you would go for the Ottoman front module for sure. That's the one to get. So it's kind of coincidentally nice that we'll be talking about the map overview, and part of that will be terrain we've never discussed or looked at, or I haven't looked at, and I'll be popping out the full-scale map, and we'll take a look at the terrain and see what kind of effects that would have on combat and movement and so on and so forth. And that just dawned on me that this is not going to be a one-take video. This is probably for the map overview and the terrain and so on and so forth. I think this is going to be, there's no way I can get this done in, I don't even think I could get this done in 1 hour properly, just as a 1 hour. Let's just talk about the map and the terrain and its implications for movement and combat and supply, the whole 9 yards, and time of year. And like I start finding out about there's areas where flooding occurs, like in along Mesopotamia and whatnot during those parts of the year. I was even reading up at like one point where the Ottomans, I can't remember what year it was, they were doing pretty good, but they actually had to fall back from their position. Just it wasn't because the British were doing anything great. It was just their position was flooded and they had to get the hell out of there. And I was like, that type of stuff. So I was like, there's no way this is going to be done in one live stream. So that'll be nice. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to go off to the January thing. I have to figure out. Still, like I said, I'm still learning about the live StreamYard and everything, but hopefully it'll get better. So I'm going to. I think I go to January here, and I have to say stop this. Oh no, I go to present, stop screen, and now I go to present, share screen. Yep. And I want to take a Microsoft thing, and we pick that one and that one, and then I'm going to get rid of me entirely, so that way you guys see the full on, and then I'm going to make sure that that's what you guys see there. And I think I can do something here with this. Is there something I thought there was something I can shrink it down, but I guess not. So anyways, let's go to January 22nd, and I'm going to make sure that you guys, I'm just going to flip over to make sure that I've gotten rid of myself. And it looks like I have. Okay. And I'm going to go back so I can see what the heck. Actually, I forgot that I need to put my window back. That's right. So I can see the comments of what's going on. And that's all you see. Good. Okay. So this is what was happening, a year before everything started going crazy. It's for me, it's just, and I don't know exactly how Wikipedia works. I don't know if anybody's allowed to edit, like put in material, because sometimes it just seems like some of the information, I'm like, God, it seems really, doesn't seem like I don't know, like who really cares about the Princess Ice Hockey Club? But I guess to someone it was important. Yeah, I don't really see, you know what I mean? It's just like everybody seems to be, oh, what's this? Prince Napoleon, never heard of this person before. I'm sure you guys have, or Meandering Mike probably does. Okay. The Opera Madeline. So, oh, the United States Navy on alert in Haiti. Yeah, so nothing. It's neat, like I said, like was it last week or something like that with, or was it 1915 January or Pancho Villa and whatnot was going on with? That was pretty fascinating to find out about, but nothing really. I don't see anything. Tugboat commissioned by the United States Navy left Newport, Rhode Island to assist and rescue a fishing vessel stranded in ice off the coast of Newfoundland. All right, so that's that. Now I'm going to flip on over to watching the Calandale stuff. So we'll see how, hold on here. I think I just have to go to here. And then I say share this tab instead. So you guys see that. And then I just go play all. And then I just make sure it's maximized. So you guys see the full on. There we go. And I'll be quiet.
So as I dive into January of 1916, supply values have gone up for the Brits. Not a lot going on in the reinforcement track this turn. Not even any withdrawals, it looks like. Although, who knows, because I found some Brits that I hadn't been able to find, maybe, or some, I don't know. Dealing with the reinforcement system on this game is just such a pain. Not that it in and of itself is that bad, but all the page turning and everything involved in it, and everything you have to set up to get a turn, not a turn, but to get a month or a year or whatever working. And really, I do it by the month. These months probably take less than an hour, but add on to that maybe a 20%, maybe even 30% tax of flipping through the page to get everything set up for each month. And that all depends. If you're not using the specific units, fine, but it's just so annoying. Anyway, then I was fortunate enough, and hopefully I'll remember when it comes time, to count the French total supply, and they're not over, but they will be next month. And, I ought to probably do that with the Germans, too, because they got a lot here, too. It's possible that they need to do an offensive this month or next month. Everything feels driven by the wrong thing. It's also, there's no ability to stockpile for a real offensive, right? I'm finding myself every couple months having to throw an offensive, rather than being able to really stockpile up and throw that big offensive that I expect to fire off. I'm going to look at the scenarios. I'll come back after that and see if too much supply is in the Allied hands before the historical offensives, because I suspect it will be. Well, looking at the totals of supply available, they're actually pretty low before these offensives, like 90 between all the armies, I think in the 16 offensive for the French. That's well within their boundaries. I don't know, because this doesn't seem to model the reality that I understand, although maybe these little offensives, little minor attacks here and there, things like that did happen, and maybe it's trying to represent that. It doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't feel quite right, but mainly because there's no desire to do that main offensive. There's no desire to do that offensive that, if it does not gain ground, continues. The offensive halts early in this. You don't have the Battle of the Somme type situation where, or Verdun for that matter, that I've seen. But we're also a little early in the game still. Maybe later on, when supply totals are higher, that'll become more possible. At this point, it may be probing attacks, essentially, to see if you can break the line. And if you cannot, it's not worth going on. But my feeling is, even with the higher totals, I'll still do that probing assault. If I don't crack it right away, I'll try to position myself so that I have a reserve of units in the back, with the French especially, or the Brits. So the Germans don't know exactly which hex is going to be hit. They've got an idea of the salient, but if the French are here, they can strike anywhere along this line. If they're down here, they can strike anywhere along here, right? I mean, you can build that reserve up, and it gives some idea of where a force might hit. But there could be a reserve in multiple places too, because that first reserve moves into the attack initially, strengthening the stacks that are there. The other reserve slides into place. So I don't know if the French take the time and effort to do this right. I think they can achieve a certain level of strategic surprise and flexibility that it's almost trivial for the Germans to manage, just because they can leave the zone of control, jump on a train, rail next to the hex they want to attack, jump off the train, and run right into the fight. It's just harder to do with the French, and I find it particularly hard. For example, now, in order to make it through this game, I'm listening to my news shows while I'm playing, just because there's so little happening. I've got so little excitement about this going on. But as kind of the same kind of way I do my work, actually, as kind of I'm doing this, but I've got some background that I can kind of focus on at the same time. Well, that works better for me. That's what I used to do with long games. All right. So, the current rule set specifies the Hindenburg line is only built starting the turn after winter ends until the first turn of winter, in which case it's in place at that point. So it's a shorter span than I was afraid. The Germans are beginning to move pieces around in a manner, because they are low on counters for replacements. They have to kind of start hunting and pecking and looking for something that's damaged to fix. So far, I'm okay. But this is going to get built up to its -1, because it can't be more than an 8, and there's no way that can be represented as a counter in a single way. You have to have a modifier on it. It can never go up above that. Presumably the English Guard is in the same position. I have no idea, but I just don't know how to deal with them, because they're 8s, but they have an 8 in the circle. And, again, they should just disintegrate. And I should just play by the rules and assume it's all correct. Except that enough things have been found with common sense being better than the rules. And then it ends up being changed when it comes to the Silver Edition, which disappeared, of course, from online. But what we're seeing is the German front is being weakened in certain places. Of course, maybe it was weakened here, and maybe those troops that are there could have moved and I forgot about them. Oops, I better try to remember them next turn. The French didn't attack this time. It's just... but they're at the point where it's not just the supplies, but they're actually running out of things to fix as well. They've got a bunch of cav they can fix. They've been building the artillery, because I do think artillery is valuable, although I think they have too much of it. But that gives them that flexibility position where they can put artillery on 2 different sectors of the front. They might use artillery to support an English assault. I've got to start preparing. I've started moving some French over into this area, and that kind of telegraphs, hey, it's going to be somewhere around here. Make sure your line's good, because right now you're concentrated up through the bulge area. And, that's not going to work if the attack ends up falling, say, here. So the Germans have to be careful. But, of course, if they build this up, there might be enough forces in this area to make a punch through here instead. And certainly whatever they built up as sort of a reserve to make this attack, they can swing over here to be the follow-up reserve, because there are a lot of French still on the line over here. That didn't get decreased much, mainly just everything's been built. But again, a second pressure for the French to start building, because having a lot of replacements in the back, yeah, it's a nice follow-up. It means that after your attack takes some losses, you can start repairing them. But it's still slow because you're going to swap units in and out, because you can only take losses on face-up units as long as they exist in the battle, which is to say, once you get to a full step loss, then the unit is immune as long as there are other units which can take the damage. So you end up with the damage distributed to a significant amount. You don't end up with units wiped out unless there's a massive hit of damage, which could happen, but it depends on the attack and what's going on. The French hopefully won't be taking that big a hit, but sometimes it can happen in this. All right, well, I'm about halfway through. This is the beginning of the fourth round. Well, here in the fifth turn of January 1916, the French launched a kind of a surprise assault up here in the mountains, or rough territory. It really is mountains. If you look over here, the real mountainous terrain is the more intense mountains, and then we, of course, hit the Alpines up here. This didn't go very far. There was a very slim chance that it would get a breakthrough, but if it did, the effect would be kind of tremendous. It would force a weak German front to recompensate. Might cause a calibration that caused, and it might still, that causes opportunities to open up a little further north along that line. Everything along here is really pretty solid. I looked at, say, the British trying to coordinate an assault at the same time. They want to do one very soon, and they're going to have to. Not so much for supplies, but because they got all their manpower up. So do the French. They've got all their manpower on the line, and so do the Germans, actually. The only thing is there's decent-sized stacks that are off the line are recuperating. Also up here, which... some of that's just reserves, though. The Germans have a real problem, which the French are kind of aware of. I forgot to move this somewhere. I've got nowhere I know to put it. Basically, they don't have troops that need replenishment. They've had to withdraw a lot of troops, so they don't have a tremendously strong line. It's fairly strong. But they also don't have, what they have is pretty much built up. I'm hunting. It takes a long time to find a damaged unit to replace. But the hope here was to cause a little bit of a breach. It wasn't a lot of supply points, 7 points. Might end up impacting their ability to conduct more offensives later on. They certainly have enough for this month. The real problem is locality of supply. They had to move their headquarters, so it didn't get any additional supplies. But it has 11 left, enough for another turn, and it can funnel some in another 10 or so. Well, 10 is its limit. I did forget to spend the German supply, though. That's off the Gade one, and there were just a 4-point unit there. If it's a 5-point unit, you can do it as a 4-point unit because there'll be a round up on the extra point, I guess. I'm not sure. Anyway, that's what we're seeing with the beginning of the offensives in this early 1916, to try and use up the supply points and use up the manpower, because there's really nothing else, The only other thing to do would be to sit around an extra turn before launching it. This seemed like a small cost. Definitely not likely to succeed, but low risk if it fails endeavor. And it could have had a high payoff. I think the French would have needed, they were at -3. They would have needed a 5 or a 6 to hit off the table to destroy that location. Well, the real might of the French hammer blow now strikes here. And I actually had to use the core markers because my clumsy fingers were getting to be a problem. I'm going to have to replace them at some point because I'm going to lose track of what's going on the way I take breaks with those in play. They wouldn't be too bad if you're always paying attention. But taking long breaks like I do, they definitely don't work well. But here I've got, an artillery division, which is really 3 brigades there. And there's a French corps, which is 3 big-sized divisions. All that's taken damage as we pushed into this hex. We got some gain. How much advantage is there really? Well, this is the hex, I think, that the French lost earlier, and they regained it. It was the weak spot where the French could get the most strength. Weak spot because it's not behind a river line, so they only faced a 1-point terrain disadvantage, which is what really helps the defender. The trenches are useful, mainly in terms of you not having to retreat and taking less damage. But there was enough damage to force the German force was completely wiped out if they could stand, therefore they must retreat. And that ended up being a 10-6. The Germans took 10 losses, the French 6. That's the biggie. It's the casualties. Because this doesn't really gain the French a lot. The hexes that is going to be attacked has a fortress in it, so it's not really available for a mobile attack to try to push them out of the way. That would just be too expensive and wouldn't get you anywhere. There's fortresses on, I'm not sure if there's one down there, but there's significant defenses. There's a river line there. This is not going to be a big breakthrough. So the French are going to probably stop there. Did they spend enough? They spent a hell of a lot of supplies on making that little offensive. This is like a minor La Grande Guerre type offensive. I think it did its purpose. It lets me buy another month. I'll have to calculate out to make sure, but I don't have to continue my offensive at this point. And the Germans have some serious problems. I can see that on the table. They do not have the units that need to be repaired. Now, they've added some. They took losses here. Those are going to get replenished. But they're going to lose replacement points because of their limited countermix on replacement points the more I can delay. And that's something I'd like to do. Even though the French have that same problem, they have a huge countermix. Same with the British. The British only problem is next month they get some Canadian replacements, I think, which start causing a problem. And sometime soon we're getting the Anzac forces coming in. So I think this was the grand early winter offensive. This is all it managed. If I had gotten a breakthrough down here, that would have been impressive and allowed me more opportunities. But having it hit here, there's just nothing to win off of that attack. And that was kind of the problem with it. However, when I calculated up the supply costs, I said, yep, that's going to be all there is. Otherwise, I would probably have continued an assault somewhere else along this line, but there's no point anymore. All right, well, yeah, the French are down to where they'll be at 141 supply points at the end of, at the beginning of next month. I hope I've got that right. They're at 101 right now, and I don't know what the limits are. You know, you gotta, this is the problem. You gotta constantly flip through and find this one thing, this one set of pages that has everything on it that I'm constantly looking up. So let's see, French points, and I didn't see, Jesus, I saw a regular French replacement rather than, I don't know what I did there. This game really gets to me. All right, supply points. Yeah, they're at 40 per month every turn. See, if I wasn't playing multiple powers, this would be easy, or easier, because if I was the French, I would just say, yeah, I've got 40 until something really big changes. And I could remember that. However, by playing all these different ones, or by playing both sides, essentially, it does become harder to recall that, and my style of play, etc., makes it worse. But anyway, let's see what we have here. So now I have to look up elsewhere over on this page what my limits are, which change. Okay, prior to 1918, it's 150. So I've got to keep you, and again, but these numbers change for every power. If you look, the Germany is 200 prior to 17, and then it goes up to 400 until 1918. And then after 1918, if the game goes that far, I guess it can't in this one. Okay. There's no the game just ends when the war historically ended, I suppose. All right. So anyway, what the French ended up doing was pulling back from this assault, preparing for some recuperation. I've broke up that core. I haven't broken up the artillery unit yet. I may keep those botched together because they're less likely to take losses, so they're less annoying. Still, there's a stacking issue, but I don't think I'll have a problem with a big 18 sitting on top of the stack. Having an 18 somewhere underneath, and I see a small stack, it may not. It may cause me to keep looking again and again. So I kind of need the stack size to help me determine. But that French assault ended. We move into the next month, and I get the fun of allocating the stack of reinforcements for that month, along with all the replacement points and all that, which is really kind of the pain in the ass of the game. All right, up it goes.
Right, so I've unmuted, and now I'm going to switch back to just me, I guess. Hold on, I got to figure this all out here. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm going to rotate the thing, grab the webcam, and then we'll go over the 1915 January stuff. Hold on, I got to move some stuff around. And let me know if it's going well, and then we'll go and take a look at the National World War I Museum and Memorial website. I'll show you the beautiful things that I like about it. Hold on here. I don't want to smack things around too much. I also have to get my reading glasses. Hold on. I'll let you see Leo. Can you see Leo? I got to get rid of I think the backdrop. That's right. Hold on. I'm going to go to settings. Virtual background. None. There we go. That's much better. Okay. Hold on. I got to get my reading glasses. Otherwise, I won't be able to see what the heck's going on, especially with the 75% scale map. I think it'll go well, though, for the strategic things. So, all right, I'll take a look and see what you guys see. We'll have to stop sharing this one. There we go. And then go to this one. And get rid of that. You guys still see Leo. That's great. And now I'll go nice and slow, I hope. Like I said, I'm holding on to the webcam, and then I'm just going to go that way rather than fiddle with it. But I will bring the... So I think you can hopefully see these things. So those are these laser cut wood things where I'm going to put like where the conflicts are occurring. And I just painted them very quickly there with some red paint. And that should work out as well. They also had these wonderful little, but I don't like the color that I used, but hopefully you can see there some orange, little tiny orange arrows they also had there too. So I can use those for which force was doing what. I think that'll work well. But so there, you can see what I mean. So hopefully that'll, we can say, okay, this was occurring in around this spot or whatever, because I think hopefully that'll be relatively okay. We'll find out. I mean, like I said, this is going to be an evolving thing. So let me go and grab the book, and then I'll start talking about what these spots are, hopefully. The first one I guess we'll talk about maybe is the naval one there, the Battle of the Dogger Bank. And I'm just over here. I mean, they don't have the map. They don't have a thing set up, but I think it's something like, I think the Dogger Bank was something around there. And from what I know about the Battle of the Dogger Bank, the German fleet in December 1914 managed to do a successful raid on England. I think it was the first time in 200 years British citizens had been killed on English soil or something like that. Anyways, and I think there was another raid the German High Command wanted to do there, and they went towards Dogger Bank, I guess. But the British, I think, intercepted the messages and also were able to decode it by then. And so they, were basically waiting to get them. They did sink the HMS Blucher. And I think, though, the remainder of the German fleet was able to get back to port. And I think that caused issues later on for the Battle of Jutland. I think if the British had managed to go after, pursue instead of going after the Blucher, I think they would have maybe have had a better outcome with the Battle of Jutland. But that's something I don't know anything about either, so I can't really talk too much about that. So let's go to the Western Front, and then we'll zip on over. And like I said, I'm going to try to get this evolve, and maybe also use. I would really like to use my better camera so I can get some good zooming. But let me know if things don't look good or bad or what's going on here. So that said that the French. So there was a bombing raid by airplanes, I think on the 28th over here in Dunkirk. There was also some action here near Ypres, as you can see up there. I do believe the Germans were repulsed there. The French, I do believe in that spot was... hold on. That was Craonne, I do believe, and that was continued fighting near Craonne. It says successful French counterattacks there, and there was continued heavy fighting in the Argonne, and then in the Alsace region as well. Germans were repulsed in the Argonne. French progress in the Vosges, especially near Sanor. So, like I said, I'll try to do a better job. This was just kind of like I just tried to clued in last night or something with it. I was like, okay, I'm going to get, and like I said, I'll just focus on 1 week at a time so I can get a much more detailed and a bit more informed thing when I start saying stuff. Let's go on over quickly to the Eastern Front. From what I know, there was the Russians were doing successful over here in northwest Poland area. Continued. It was hard for me to find, but as far as I know, it is north of the Vistula over here. Hold on, I gotta grab the book. What does it say? German offensive near Lipno, that's it. Northwest Poland was driven back, so that's that area there. And here is the Austrian counteroffensive, an offensive. They tried to get back towards Przemyśl. As far as I know, that's the Dukla and the Uzak passes there. And they did, I think, at first make some limited success. But let's be honest, this is January in the mountains. Holy Jesus, Murphy. Anyways, it got stopped pretty quick, and the Russians were able to stop them. And but I think Conrad at this point was trying to muster. I think Austrian morale was at an all-time low. And let's be honest, there's over 100,000 troops sitting there in Przemyśl, for Christ's sakes. That they're trying to. There you are, right there. That they're trying to get going. So to help out. What else? There was, in Romania here, the British loaned them a ton of money. And in Greece, the British, I think in December of 1914, asked the Greeks to help them out, maybe for logistics or can we land troops here or whatever. But we all know it. I don't, maybe if you guys don't know, but they ended up occupying Greece anyways. to help out with Serbia, and basically Greece said, no, thanks. There's a side note, guys. I so want to talk more about is the whole Greek, like what was going on with Greece in World War One. It is absolutely fascinating from what I've been reading, with Queen Sophia and all this stuff, and her relationship with the Kaiser, and they're brother sister, for Christ's sakes, all this stuff. So it was, from what I've been reading, it's kind of like sometimes you're like, what's going on with Greece? And I'm like, well, if you've got like a loyalty issue going on or whatever, which side you're going to go on at that point? No wonder you seem a bit strange to people of which way you're going to go. So that I found fascinating. So what else? I had a bit of a hard time. I'm going to look it up, which is ironic because here we are. I was mentioning that the front. I'll stand up a bit more. I'm going to move my mouse. So we don't. There we go. There we go. Hopefully that'll help. Yes, I didn't find some. They were mentioning something about British success in Alexandretta or something, but I looked that up. It was something around near Cyprus, like over here. And I thought, how the hell did the British get up towards there to be able to cut telegraph lines? So I don't think I got that spot right. Here's the Battle of Sarakamesh or something, which absolute disaster for the Ottomans, and the Russians are just keep pushing them back towards Erzurum or something. There's also I can't find where it is geographically, but the Ottomans were also having some other woeful issues with the Russians in this area. And then over here is where Kut is, or Kut is. I just wanted you to see, and that's the garrison. I just popped it on there. There's the Kut garrison, because that's going to be coming up pretty soon. And here's the Suez Canal raid that's going to be popping up in February. So that's going to be interesting, because that'll be a lot of stuff popping up. So, okay, now I'm going to go over to the National World War I Museum and Memorial, and we'll take a look at that for a while. Okay, hold on. I'm going to pop the webcam back onto the stool. Hold on here. If I didn't jerk it's this extender. It's very loose, the connector, and I think that's what's happening with the StreamYard thing. It's not working out very well. Hold on. So I'm going to turn off some lights, and then I'll switch over to the thing. Yeah. All right. I'll move this guy over. And then we'll go to the national. There's so much information there. And like I said, I wanted to do the an online, their virtual tour one of these weeks, which I think will be great to do. So there we go. Something like that, I guess. All right. So you don't need to hear me. You don't need to see me, I think, right? Or hold on. I got to figure out how to switch over here. I got to present again, share the screen. Microsoft Edge tab. There we go. All right, you can see me. So tell me if you find that screen big enough, or like, do you want, what is preferable? The whole screen and just hearing me, which makes sense, or do you want to see a little me and this? Like, I don't know what is more entertaining or whatever. But anyways, let's go to the worldwar.org. You know what? We're going to go to their store first, because their books are the amount of books they have. I don't know if the prices for you guys are good. For me, they're often, I wait for what's on sale for their store. One I wish I picked up, especially now that I was mentioning here, we'll go to the store. The books is what I really wished was that I had picked up the cookbook. I was looking it up, and oh darn it, I wish I had picked it up, because now that Rob and I are going to be doing these potluck and trying to make the meals theme related, I was like, oh, well, one of the books is the U.S. Army Corps cookbook things from like 1880 something, or no, it actually had the U.S. Civil War in it. So so it was before the Civil War started or whatever. But I was like, and it was only $15 American, or $16 American, which I found fascinating. So I wonder how we're going to do this here. So if anybody wants to, if you let me know if you want to take a look at a certain particular subcategory or whatever, but they just have a brilliant amount of books. Some I'm just like, gosh, I really so wish I had the amount of time and money to read them all. But my goodness, they're just well, maybe we'll do it quickly, because I also don't want to run out of time. I want you to see the other parts of the website. I also found, I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but there was a person who seems to have transcribed a Russian website that I used to go to. So I'm able to get all this amazing information of the Russian divisions and so on and so forth. It's just spectacular. But there's just, actually, let's just take a look. I think, isn't there? Yeah, there's some interesting ones they have on the women in World War I. But I want to, maybe it's the U.S. history. Maybe we can find the cookbook there. I wonder, no. Or maybe I'll just type in cook. So I want you to see it. Cooking. There we are. $15. Okay. So this is the one I wish I had picked up. I just did an order last week too. And it was like the next day, I think I was talking with Rob, and we were decided to do a game thing. And I went, oh, darn, that would have been great. But look at this. This is, so what are we looking at here from me? Okay, so I'm wrong. Okay, so it's 1896. Okay. But still, that would, I mean, for $15, I was actually thinking of, when I saw it too, I was thinking about Meandering Mike. I was thinking about you when I saw this in your show and your cooking segments. I was like, oh my gosh, wouldn't that be interesting for you to do this and say, okay, well, I'm going to prepare this meal from the U.S. Army Cook's Manual and, see what it's like, and we'll taste it. I think that would be interesting. All right, so let's go to let's see if I can go to the proper store, if I'm allowed to go there. Yeah, but it would be neat. Okay, now how do I get out of here? Maybe I have to go back to yeah, we'll go back to the World War I museum. There we go. Yeah, and there's all kinds of, well, here's the plan your visit. You know what? I was thinking of, I don't know, I just dipped my toes in. I took a look to see how much it would cost for me to fly to Kansas City and back and go there. I was thinking maybe that would be my first attempt at doing something World War. Like I would, my ultimate wish for sure is to go to the Vimy Memorial. As far as I'm concerned, almost any Canadian that's interested in these type of things should. It's like a pilgrimage as far as I'm concerned. So, okay, let's go plan your visit. Aren't I there? Thank you. So Tuesday to Sunday, eh? Mondays are closed. So yeah, like I said, I became a member because, and I still haven't contacted them a second time. I did contact them once, but I think I used the wrong people to get. Is I want to be allowed to stream their lectures for the Saturday live streams. I think it would be extremely informative for people, and I want to discuss them with people because there's so many things that pop up. And I'm like, I'm watching this lecture by myself, darn it, and it's like, so I really would like to, I'd really like to do that. So let's see what they have right on now. Ooh. Empires at War, this looks interesting. And it's closing the 12th of February. This kind of reminds me, because I'm interested in this topic. So it reminds me so much of hanging out in London, England, because of the British Museum there. And it's just what a city. Is just nuts. But this looks really interesting. Ooh. Let's see. God, I don't know that to me. I don't know about you guys, but that would be for me one of the worst. Wow, there's a lot of nasty jobs, but God, being part of an artillery crew with that banging going on constantly. I guess you wouldn't know it after once you get deaf. I guess you wouldn't hear it anymore. Maybe that's the way to look at it. And then I've been seeing those scenes of, like I was mentioning about the trenches and finding out about sappers and all these underground subway systems they had. And God, that must have been just hell work. Ooh, wow. God, that material looks in pretty good nick. I don't know about you guys, but that looks in really good shape. Wow. To see this stuff up close would be really nice. Engineering, I don't know what that means. The other stuff there. The American ambulance in Russia. Oh, I would love to show you the, maybe I'll show it to you at the end. There's a t-shirt or a logo I'm trying to make for a t-shirt. So what I'm trying to do is come up, because I found that, I don't know if you guys know about, let's get out of here. How do I get out of here? How do I get out of here? Okay. I don't know. How do I get out of this? Okay, I'm back. Okay. I thought I was stuck in there forever. Okay, good. Captured. Let's go to this one. So what I would like to do is I found out about Spring or whatever. It doesn't cost you anything. So that company, you can make products or say, okay, I've made, a logo or whatever. So if Meandering Mike had his little logo for whatever and say, hey, I want to make Meandering Mike coffee mugs or whatever. Meandering Mike doesn't have to pay a penny. You just have to say, guess what? I want to make $3 off of every mug. So Spring says, okay, well, we need to cover our ass and it makes so much money. So we're going to have to charge your customers $40 or I'm just making it up. But, and away you go. And so I was thinking, you know what, I may do something like that. Not to make money for myself, but I'm trying to figure out a way of, if you buy a t-shirt or whatever, that money will go to like a charity or something, World War I related is what I would like to do. Something that way, or maybe give the money towards a struggling convention or something like that. But I don't want the money is what I'm saying. But I would love to make t-shirts and all these stuff, all these things. So is what I'm saying. So this would be fascinating to, I wish I could go to this one. I guess maybe they'll have a YouTube thing, because I've been reading up on and listening to that podcast there, Dr. Vilma Wilcox from the Nebula thing I was telling you about. And she's mentioning a lot of the Italian high command absolutely detested. Awesome. Meandering Mike. Awesome. I'll show you the one I've been working on. I think it's going to be, and anyways, yeah. So what the hell was I talking about? Oh, the Italian things. And I don't know exactly about POWs. That's why I would love to find out more about all this stuff. Is that it seems like I don't know if other, like, let's say if I had Italian POWs, the Italian government would help send money or something to help support whatever. I don't know, but it seems like a lot of the Italian government absolutely considered POWs, almost like you were, I don't treason or something like that. And it was just god awful. Wow. Holy smokes. Would I ever like to see that? Wow. That is impressive. Look at this. Jeez. Amazing. Anyways, and just the horrible things I heard about some of the stuff that went on. Like, and you hear about, for example, a forced march of Austrians, I think by the Serbians or whatever, something like that at some point. And there was like, I think 70,000 that started, and only less than 10,000 actually made it to the camp. I was like, Jesus, like just, oh my, look at this. And you know what, guys? I'm now starting to clue in that here I was worried about not having enough material for a 1 hour stream. I'm not even, look, I haven't even got to, like, we've got 4 minutes left. I haven't even started talking about the Der Weltkrieg map and stuff. I'm nowhere near doing this. So, what the hell? Probably used by prisoners of war for mess in a POW camp in Germany. Whoa. Like, yeah, so like we're going to run out of time because I have to get ready for Rob. Rob's going to be here any second. And yeah, so I'm going to have to rejig all this timing. If anything, I'm not worried at all about running out of material. It's going to be the other way around, especially when I said I'm just going to be focusing on 1 week at a time. Because I want to be doing this for years and years. Why not? I mean, I'm having a great time with this, and I want to learn about World War I, so, and relate it to gaming, and I love interacting with you guys. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer for me. So, yeah, I'll show you my little t-shirt design so far, and we'll see what you think. If I don't have anything funky on my well, you haven't seen it yet, so what am I saying? You can't, won't be able to see what I show you. Hold on here. Oh, I think it's actually on the, so this is the, oh, you'll see in a minute. Hold on, I just got to get back to StreamYard and then say I'm going to stop that screen, and then I'm going to present a window. So this is the one I've been working on, and I still have, like, I got a little bit, I can't use the figure in the middle, but everything else I can. So I'm going to talk to Bailey, my artist friend, and get her to do that. So I was thinking that's what I would like to have as a t-shirt for one of my very first ones. Yeah, I know, Meandering Mike, and especially because I don't want you to know what I'm into. You know, I don't want you to know if I'm in, like, I still want you guessing. Am I into more slap or more into the tickle? You know, that type of stuff. So, or maybe I just like to watch slap and tickle. But yeah, thanks. So Zoe saw it yesterday too, and she went, "Wow, do I ever like that?" And but she said right off the bat, because she knows my artistic qualities, she goes, "So where did you get this? Where did you get the soldier?" Oh my goodness! But that's the thing. I want to keep. I want to have something as simple as possible. And yeah, I like that one. I was like, trust in the trench. That's, so I've been saying it quite a bit. And I also I want to do my Berevich t-shirt. I'd like to have that one as well. I'd also like to make some bookmarks, the Berevich bookmarks. I don't see why I can't make a Trust in the Trench bookmark, this type of stuff, and just make them really simple. Like I said, I don't want any money for this, for these type of things. I want it to go towards some kind of, I don't know how to set it up. So I'll have to figure this way, set it, or maybe it'll just be on an honor system in a weird way of, can you like donate, or I don't know how, we'll figure it out. But I want to make this as affordable. Like if somebody says, okay, I want to buy a bookmark from Spring of this, you know, I want it to be, you know, it just costs basically the cost of them making it and shipping, and maybe $1 goes towards charity or something. That'd be kind of neat, but whatever. So I guess that's about it. What do you think? Hopefully things went well. I hope you guys have a great Saturday. Like I said, I got to get ready for Rob. He's going to be here any second. And I'll try to figure out about next week, and hopefully I can get hammer out a week a bit more structured and pop the little guys down and find out the locations for the shrunken down Der Weltkrieg map and go from there. So I think that's yeah. Thank you, Meandering Mike. That'd be awesome. I'll take a look. I think you may be right actually, and then it'll just be you. Whatever. I don't want to be. And yet again, I'm part of this live stream. I don't want this becoming a pandering for whatever. But it's not. You know, I don't want this in this weird whatever. But. Okay, that's it. Hope you have a great Saturday, and I'll obviously see you guys later on. Thank you so much. Okay, bye, guys.